So, Mike, you rewatched the game. You were pretty definitive afterwards that if the club could perform like that, execute a game plan like that, compete that hard, a lot of good things would be coming further down the season. You've rewatched it. You want to fine-tune that analysis at all? Or?
No, it's listen. Everyone's saying, "Oh, great game, this and that." To me, it was not so much of the actions on the field as far as with the ball and stuff. It was what you just said. It was, I mean, we worked specifically on something all week. To go against two of the best players in the league, Vela and Rossi, at their positions, and I'm not stupid enough to say we shut them down, but to neutralize them and to keep them, to keep them in check a lot of the time based off of the movements that we had, based off of Brooks understanding his position in this moment and dropping back in the right times to double team him, to close him from behind when Aaron's closing him in front of him. To me, that's amazing, and to get into their box, to get the penalty kick, to score a second beautiful goal. And I'm not going to say anything on that. And then their goal, I'm not going to say anything on that, other than I don't understand the rules anymore. And then to lose, in the 92nd minute from a center back who I respect and I like, Walker, hitting a blazer in the top corner at that moment, in front of that crowd in that environment against the highest paying team in the league. You take your hat off, you take your hat off to Walker, to LAFC, but then in the locker room I took my hat off to the players. And the first time I gave a game ball out ever in a loss, ever, and it was to the team. It was to the full team, because they deserve better than that, and they did everything I asked for them, everything I asked them to do.
So 30 balls?
Huh?
30 balls, 30 game. You gave a game ball. Is it 30 balls that you gave away? It's a joke, sorry.
30 balls. Oh, you mean for all my players? Well, it would be 18 because there was only 18 there.
You're right. Okay, so I'm the dumb one.
Okay.
So when you have a game like that, as you just said, and hats off to the guys, they really did execute the game plan. How much more challenging does it make it for you with certain lineup decisions, and how much confidence do you have in the group as a whole that now you said this team was very deep, but then the proof is in the pudding. We saw it this weekend.
I want to make one thing clear. I don't believe, we could go back and look, I don't believe I ever made the statement that this team is so deep. I think I agreed with others who have said it, because I want to keep it a bit in perspective here. I think it's an extremely deep team for RSL, if you look over the history of RSL. Having said that, I didn't have to start 6 homegrown players. I didn't have to. I had other options. Again, we had a very good week of training last week, and we moved players in different positions, and we really had a good look at it based off of what we wanted to do in the game plan, and the guys who started were the guys we felt fit right. Going into this weekend, it's another opportunity for everybody. You could see the same lineup as last weekend. You could see a completely different one. You could see a mix and match of it. To me, we really, I think I said it after the game, we set a standard, and we set a couple last year, personal standards for the team that we wanted to stay at and get above. This is a new one, to have that effort and commitment on the road in that environment against that team. We come home, we're hoping to have a hell of a lot more of the ball and a hell of a lot more control of the game, but in those moments in transition when we are behind it, what we saw last weekend, that has to be the standard now. So the guys who are going to play this weekend are the guys who are bought into that, and the guys who we feel are going to give us the best case to get a chance to get a result.
Do you feel like, jumping forward from a year ago now, compared now to a year ago, that the team is more equipped to go on the road and compete no matter what happens?
Listen, it's only 3 road games so far this season. We've had two good performances, 1 good result, and 1 that, based off of what happened, you could just kind of throw out the window. I'm not ready to make any proclamations like that. I hope so. I hope we're more mature than we were last year, and that's including me. I said it all along. A big reason for our road record last year was me. I was unwilling at times to do what was necessary because I wanted to push the way I wanted to play. And while I feel that last year that helped us a lot at our home games, because we didn't play differently much on the road, and we had 60, 70 good minutes on the road at time, but ended up losing. I'm being a hell of a lot more pragmatic this year, and realizing that I don't want to go to the end of the season like we did the last 2 years and either make the playoffs by a point or lose or miss out in the playoffs on a point. I'd rather 2 weeks before I know I'm in the playoffs by 3-4 points. So we're changing a little bit, and the guys are buying in. Does that translate that we're going to win a hell of a lot of games this year on the road or get a lot of results? I have no idea, but it gives us a better opportunity for that, I think. At
this point in the season, where would you say you guys are offensively compared to where you are defensively?
That's a tough. I mean, I think we're better defensively as a unit than we were last year. I think we've always had talent attacking, and obviously I think we're a bit more talented this year because of the guys who were here from last year, a bit more experienced to this year, a bit more understanding, and new guys that we brought in are good players. So, if I want to compare my offense to my defense, I don't think it'd be fair for me to do for my players to hear if I lean towards one side of it. But it's all about the balance to me, And when we are equally as good in the attack and on the defensive side in the game, we're that much better and as a team and that much harder to beat.
The reason I ask is it seems like so far there have been a couple games where you guys have tallied a lot of shots, but there just hasn't really been a lot of chances created for you guys, and I'm wondering why that is, do you think, and what's the key to kind of getting more chances at goal?
Well, I have to go back and look at the stats. I don't know how many chances we've created in each game, but I know we've had 3 road games and only 1 at home.
Right.
And I know we've created a bunch at home against Vancouver, just weren't able to capitalize on it. So, listen, we did a lot of defensive work this preseason because we have 9 of the first 15 on the road. And it's not very easy to create chances on the road, but we've managed to score in 2 out of the 3, which is a positive. And we have created things, but maybe not the final product at goal. So it's 4 games in and only 1 at home so far. So this one, I'm hoping we create a lot of chances.
You and Dallas are the organizations that probably were the first to embrace the academies. You coaches have been willing to play those academy players. You have the belief in them. When you see belief in or success from guys early on, is it easier to then believe that the next group of guys coming in are going to be able to do that as well because you've seen what your academy has produced in the past and in ways could replicate itself in the future years?
Well, I hope so. I hope we're going to continue to churn out some quality players. I believe in our academy system. I believe in the coaches. The thing is that this league is continuously stepping up and raising the bar, with teams coming in and spending these incredible amount of money on very good, big stars from overseas. So it's hard to think, my dream is to win an MLS Cup with primarily academy players from here. Is that realistic? I think it is eventually, as far as not first year, second year academy players. I think, the Justin Glads, the Bofos, the Aarons, the Brooks, who now are, a couple of years into the league, and the more experience they get and the better they get, and we could surround them with the right talent, then I think it's possible. But I think a lot of people look into, starting 6 academy players, and that's such a big thing. I think it is a big thing on one hand, but the other hand, that's the club that we are. We're a built from within club, so it shouldn't. I think it should be something that we're all proud of as an organization, but it shouldn't be something that people are like, oh my goodness, that's how we're set up. That's how Dallas is set up, and I love it. I happen to love it. So it's not that I'm being asked to start these guys or being told to start these guys. It's never happened once. It's that I took a job understanding the structure of an organization, believing in that structure, and this is where we're at right now. So to answer your original question, I hope that more players come through. I hope that I'm starting 11 academy players one weekend this year. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if we have 11 homegrowns, but we're somewhere around there. That would be a dream of mine, But again, they have to earn on the field, and those guys for last weekend did.
You mentioned Brooks. It seems like he's one of the more vocally competitive guys on the field. How much do you think that's helped in the time that you've had him, and what do you think that how does it permeate throughout the team?
So he's vocal?
Vocally competitive. Yeah.
Locally competitive. He's a very competitive person, you know. I wish he would speak more. I wish he would make his presence known a little more, to be quite honest with you. He's competitive and he gets angry, which is awesome because that's how I am. But as far as leadership, as far as directing on the field, I think Brooks, he could be a heck of a lot more, and that's a credit to Brooks. I think he's capable of it, you know. And he's been over in Liverpool. He's been through our academy, then to Liverpool, and now here for a couple of years. I think I'm looking for him to take a more leadership role in the back line.
What do you think of Holt and Schmidt getting their first starts?
I was very happy for him. You know, these guys came in preseason, and you could tell that they have something special to offer. And I'm excited for what the future holds for them. I thought that they earned those starts last week, and I thought they both did an excellent job. I mean, we had to almost carry Tate off the field because of how much work he did. He was dying, and that's because he put it in. And these, again, two guys who came up through our academy, guys that I'm extremely proud that had this opportunity and took full advantage of it.
It looked like Justin and Plato were kind of ramping up a little bit of their activity during training. Do you have a status update as far as how close they are?
Yeah, I don't think they're ready to be available for this weekend, and next week's a new week, so I know they're progressing. They're doing more and more. So as soon as they could step out in the field to start training full, that's when we'll have a better idea of the timeline, whether they have to go maybe play a game with the Monarchs to get that fitness back or not. It all depends on how they're rehabbing, but for now, they're not available for this weekend.